Hi guys, Ian here. Welcome to my channel and to another video. And today I just want to ramble a little bit about the nature of the soul and how, well, we hear the term, don't we, my immortal soul. How an immortal soul might have a beginning, because to me immortal isn't so much something that lasts forever. It's something that is outside of the influences of time. So then how can an immortal soul, something that is not bound to the limitations or the concepts of time, how can it be born? Because born indicates a beginning of sorts. And if there is no time, then how can there be a beginning? Because a beginning requires a time when there was not, and then a time that there was. In order to have before and after, then and now, this and that, we must exist in a space-time continuum. And the soul is something that is beyond space-time, is said to be immortal. So therefore, how can something immortal be born? Sorry about this, we got two dogs going crazy here. So, that can drive us crazy when we try and hold these what appear to be conflicting concepts in our mind. But as always, the secret, the answer to the question lies in the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. And if we look at it, if we think about it, we can see the explanation of how an immortal soul can be born when we look at the Kabbalistic principles of Ein Sof and the Tree of Life. Now, if you know anything about Kabbalah, you'll know that the Tree of Life is a glyph representing everything in existence, both in the above and the below. It is the map, if you like, of the cosmos, the macrocosm, and the human being, the microcosm. And it even gives us an indication of how and where God, now that's going to mean, God is going to mean different things to different people, but we'll use the word the infinite, source, creator, supreme being, call it what you will. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life shows us how existence and how we relate to the infinite. Now, bearing in mind that in all of these explanations, we are using the language of everyday life, we are using the terms of manifest existence to try and describe and explain transcendental concepts. We are trying to use intellectual structures to explain that which is incomprehensible. We are trying to use our language to make sense of things that are so far above and beyond the nature of what we know in our day-to-day existence that we shouldn't be surprised if we come up against some slight lost in translation errors, if you want. But when we look at the image of the Tree of Life, depending on what image you're looking at, sometimes you see above Keter, you see 3 semicircles, and these semicircles are representative of the 3 negative veils of existence. So what are they? Well, the Kabbalist, the ancient Kabbalist, expounds to us that the infinite source is Ein, no thing, nothing. No thing that can be known to us because it is completely unmanifest. It is the unity, it is it is nothing that we can have any hope of knowing or understanding, not now and maybe not ever. So Ein, no thing, Ein Sof, without limit, limitless, no thing, and Ein Sof, or the limitless light. So we have no thing without limit, which is conceived of as light. So then, why am I going back to this? Why am I going back to Ein Sof? Because at the heart of Ein Sof, if there is nothing, there is no sense of self-concept. So at the heart of the infinite, there is no self-knowledge. So in a sense we could say that God, but that's not at all a good analogy, because God and Ein Sof are not the same thing. God, if you like, is an emanation of what comes forth from Ein Sof in manifestation. I'm probably confusing you here, but what I mean is God, in all of the forms of godness, in all of the forms of world religion, in all of the spiritual systems, is a facet. It is a mask, if you like, of what lies behind the no thing of Ein Sof. Now, how do we know this? How do we know that Ein Sof is not known, not even to itself? Well, because Ein Sof is described as the unity. If no thing knows itself, it must have something to reflect on. If you like, it must have a mirror in which it can behold itself. So at that point, no thing becomes two things. It becomes no thing, and it becomes the mirror in which it beholds itself. Now, if it is two things, it's no longer unity, is it? Because no thing, when it beholds itself, sees something. So at the heart of Ein Sof, there is no self-concept. The infinite is pure infinite. It is pure whatever it is. That substance which is unknowable to us. Okay, so the Kabbalist then says something happened which caused an urge to create, but creation could not occur within Ein Sof, because if creation occurred within Ein Sof, the unity is no longer the unity. The no thing is a something. So therefore, everything that is something occurs out with Ein Sof, beyond the negative veils. Okay. So, yeah, I can see the sense of that, and perhaps you can see where I'm going with this. So, we are told that Ein Sof crystallizes, if you like, outside of itself, a point of somethingness, Keter, the first Sephira on the tree of life. So does Keter then know itself? No, because what does Keter have in order to reflect itself against? It can't reflect backwards into Ein Sof because there is no thing against which it can reflect. But Keter emanates Chokmah. Now there is something. Now Keter beholds Chokmah and has some understanding of itself. The first seeds of self-awareness are born. Okay, so what has that got to do with the birth of the soul? Well, as I said, the answer to all of the questions of the below can be found in the archetypes of the above. And I believe this is exactly what happens with the soul. Soul is immortal, yes, because it is of the substance and essence of source. Soul is outside of time. It always is. We can't say it always was, because that refers to time. We can't say it always will be, because again, that refers to time. Was and will be are only relevant in a space-time continuum. So all we say of soul is, it is. It eternally is. And yet it is born. How is it born? Soul becomes born when it first beholds itself, in the same way that Ein Sof first generated a sense of self-concept when Keter beheld Chokmah. So our soul is born at the point that it first emanates something against which it can reflect and see its own beingness. Now we might say, mightn't we, that this occurs through the experience of existence. That when soul manifests itself in life, in human life, when soul emanates its own Keter, if you like, the start of its own life of existence in a space-time continuum, it begins to gain feedback of what it is. It grows, it evolves, it becomes. So the immortal soul develops a sense of self-identity. It comes to know what it is. It comes to know its own limitlessness. It comes to know itself as a creator being. It comes to know itself in the way that Ein Sof comes to know itself. But with Ein Sof, this knowing is outside of the three negative veils, because the heart of Ein Sof must always and forever be no thing, must always be unity, that is not divided by anything whatsoever. So I don't know if that made any sense to anybody at all other than myself. And if it did, then yeah, it would be great to hear from you. Or if it didn't, it would also be great to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and as always, bye for now.